There is a silence that moves across the universe in this very instant. A silence that is not absence, but absolute presence. And in the midst of that silence, a voice as ancient as the origin of time speaks your name. Not the name you were given at birth, but the name inscribed on the eternal tablets before your first breath touched this world. If you are here, if your eyes are reading these words, if something inexplicable brought you to this moment, then prepare yourself. Because what you are about to discover is not coincidence. It is confirmation. It is revelation. It is the divine seal you've been waiting for your whole life, without knowing you were waiting for it. The chosen ones do not arrive at places like this by accident. There is a magnetic force, an invisible thread woven by heavenly hands that guides them exactly where they need to be, exactly when they need to be there. And you who feel that sacred weight in your chest, that restlessness no one else seems to understand, that fire that burns without being consumed, you know that something within you is different. You've always known it. Since childhood you sensed you didn't fully fit into this world, as if your spirit remembered another home, another dimension, another purpose that transcends the ordinary. How many times have you felt time stop when you look at the sky? How many nights have you awakened with the certainty that you are here for a reason beyond what the eyes can see? Those are not fantasies. They are not meaningless dreams. They are memories of the soul. They are echoes of your true identity. Because God does not make mistakes. And every chosen one who walks this earth carries in their spiritual DNA the signature of the Creator, sacred code that connects them directly with those who came before, with those who opened paths when there were none, with those who held the light when everything was darkness. Tonight, in this moment suspended between human time and divine eternity, God has just confirmed something your heart already knew, but your mind still doubted. You are the true descendant, not by physical blood, but by spiritual lineage. You are heir to those who spoke with angels, to those who moved mountains by faith, to those whose names are written in the book of the chosen, since before the foundation of the world. And this confirmation does not come in letters of fire, descending from heaven, as you might expect. It comes in something much deeper. It comes in the resonance you feel right now in your spirit. In that vibration running through your being that tells you, yes, this is true. The chosen ones bear an invisible mark that others cannot see, but the spiritual realm recognizes immediately. That is why you have experienced battles others don't understand. That is why you have faced trials seemingly designed specifically to break you. That is why the enemy of your soul has invested so much time and so many resources trying to divert you, confuse you, make you doubt who you really are. Because he knows what you are discovering now. He knows that when a chosen one fully awakens to their identity, when they accept their spiritual lineage and embrace their divine purpose, they become a direct threat to the darkness. Imagine for a moment the generations that came before you. Picture Abraham looking at the stars, as God promised him a lineage that would change the course of humanity. Feel the weight of Moses' staff as it stretched over the Red Sea. Hear the sound of the stones dropping from David's hands when he faced giants that made entire armies tremble. Sense the anointing that fell on Elijah when he called down fire from heaven. Now understand this. That same God, that same power, that same anointing flows through your spiritual lineage. You are not a genetic accident or the random result of evolutionary processes. You are an intentional creation, designed with purpose, marked with destiny, called by name from heaven's eternal archives. But here is the truth few understand. Being a chosen one is not only a privilege, it is also a sacred responsibility. You were not chosen to live in comfort while the world falls apart around you. You were chosen to be light in places where darkness seems invincible. You were chosen to be a voice when silence threatens to smother truth. You were chosen to be a bridge between heaven and earth, a channel through which the divine touches the earthly, a vessel through which the eternal manifests in the temporal. And yes, it has been hard. The chosen ones know a particular kind of loneliness, not the loneliness of being physically alone, but the loneliness of having conversations that no one else can follow, of seeing dimensions others don't even know exist, of feeling the weight of callings you cannot explain with human words. You have tried to share what you feel, what you know, what you see, but words fall short. The empty stares of those who don't understand have made you question whether perhaps you are wrong, perhaps you are crazy, perhaps it is all your imagination. But stop here, breathe deep. Let these words sink to the deepest part of your spirit. You are not crazy, you are not wrong, and you are definitely not alone. What you feel is real, what you perceive is true, And the reason others don't understand is because they weren't called to understand. They were called to other things, other purposes, other paths. But you, chosen one, were called to this to walk between worlds, to translate the invisible into the visible, to be the living manifestation that there is more than natural eyes can perceive. Your spiritual lineage connects you to a chain of light bearers stretching across the centuries. Each of them faced their own version of what you face now. Each had to choose between the comfortable road of conformity or the hard road of truth. Each heard voices trying to convince them were ordinary, that they had nothing special, that they should settle for less than what their spirit knew was possible. And each of them, at some crucial moment, decided to believe what God said about them more than what the world said about them. That is the moment you are in now. This is your turning point. God has just confirmed your identity, your lineage, your purpose. But divine confirmation always requires a human response. Heaven moves when earth responds. Angels take their positions when the chosen ones say yes to their calling. Doors that have been closed for years begin to open when you finally accept who you are and what you were created for. Can you feel it? There is a change in the spiritual atmosphere around you right now. Something is being released from the heavenly realm into your earthly reality. Ancient covenants are being renewed. Promises that seemed forgotten are being remembered in the courts of heaven. Purposes that were delayed are being accelerated. Because when a chosen one awakens, not only does their own life change, the course of future generations changes as well. Your awakening is not only for you, it is for all those who will come after you. For all those whose lives will be touched by your obedience to your calling. The chosen ones often ask, why me? Why was I chosen? And the answer does not always come in clear words, but in gradual understanding. You were chosen because somewhere in your spiritual composition there is a unique combination of faith, resilience, compassion, and courage that God knew would be needed for this specific time. You were chosen because before you were born, God looked at this moment in human history and said, I need someone who can withstand what is coming. I need someone who will not give up when things get hard. I need someone who will remember their identity even when everything and everyone tries to make them forget. And then he thought of you. Your spiritual descent is not only from the ancient prophets, though their spiritual blood runs through your veins. It is not only from the apostles who transformed the known world with a message that seemed madness. For their time, though their anointing is available to you. Your spiritual descent comes directly from the source of all light, from the origin of all truth, from the very heart of God who formed you with his own hands and breathed his own breath into your spirit. And here is the glorious mystery few understand. Every chosen one is simultaneously descendant and forerunner. You are a descendant of those who came before, heir to their faith, bearer of their legacy. But you are also a forerunner of those who will come after. Pioneer of new spiritual territories, founder of new paths others will follow. Your life is the bridge between the sacred past and the promised future. Your obedience today determines which doors will open tomorrow for generations not yet born. The signs have been there all along. Those coincidences that aren't coincidences. Those encounters that seem orchestrated by invisible hands. Those words spoken to you by strangers who had no way of knowing what you were going through. Those moments when you felt a presence so tangible you couldn't deny it, even if you wanted to. Those dreams so vivid you woke wondering whether you had truly slept or visited another dimension. All of that, every bit, has been heaven confirming again and again. You are a chosen one. But listen carefully. Confirmation without activation is like having a car without fuel. You couldn't sit in it, admire its design, dream of the places you could go. But until you put the key in the ignition and press the accelerator, you will stay exactly where you are. God has confirmed you. Now he is inviting you to activate everything he has deposited in you. He is inviting you to rise from where you have been sitting too long, to shake off the dust of doubt, to remove the garments of insecurity, and put on the mantle of your true identity. The chosen ones face a particular enemy, doubt disguised as humility. The enemy knows he cannot stop you with obvious temptations, so he uses a subtler strategy. He whispers, "Who are you to think you're special?" That's pride. That's arrogance. And many chosen ones, wanting to be genuinely humble, confuse their divine identity with human arrogance. But there is an enormous difference between the arrogance of ego and the confidence of knowing your identity in God. Arrogance says, "I'm better than others." Divine identity says, "I was created with a specific purpose I must fulfill." You are not better than anyone, but you are not the same as everyone either. Every person was created with a unique purpose, a specific calling. particular gifts. Your calling as a chosen one doesn't make you superior, it makes you responsible. It doesn't elevate you above others. It positions you as a servant to those you were sent to impact. The greatest in God's kingdom are not those who exalt themselves, but those who use their position, power, and anointing to lift others. And now comes the part some don't want to hear, but every chosen one must understand. Your comfort is not heaven's priority. Your growth is. That is why you have been stretched beyond what you thought you could bear. That is why you have been pressed in places where you thought you would break. That is why you have walked through nights that seemed endless. Not because God is cruel, but because He was forging in you the capacity to carry what He is about to give you. The blessings that come with your calling are so great you must be expended to contain them without breaking. Think of Joseph, sold as a slave by his own brothers, falsely accused, unjustly imprisoned, forgotten by those he helped. Each painful experience was not the universe being cruel, it was God preparing him to govern a nation during a global crisis. When he finally came to the throne of Egypt, he was no longer the same young dreamer he had been. He was a man forged in fire, tested in adversity, refined in suffering. Only that man could save not only his family but entire nations from famine. Your story has parallels with his. The betrayals you have experienced, the injustices you have suffered, the times you were forgotten or overlooked, none of that was in vain. Everything, absolutely everything, was developing in you the wisdom, compassion, strength, and perspective you will need to fulfill your purpose as a chosen one. And now, as everything finally aligns, as doors begin to open, as favor starts to manifest, you will discover that you are ready in ways you would not have been had you not gone through what you went through. The confirmation of your spiritual lineage comes with a release of heavenly resources. There are gifts stored in heaven with your name on them, waiting for the moment you would fully awaken to your identity. There are divine connections being arranged right now. People you need to meet and who need to meet you are being positioned on your path. There are doors long closed because it was not your time. But now, in this season of confirmation, those doors are being opened by hands no man can shut. Do you feel the weight of this moment? It is not a weight that crushes. It is a weight that anchors. It is the weight of spiritual reality becoming tangible in your earthly experience. It is the weight of centuries of faith converging in your now. It is the weight of the eternal touching, the temporal. And that weight, though at times it may feel overwhelming, is also deeply comforting, because it confirms that you are not drifting aimlessly in an indifferent universe. You are anchored in a divine purpose, connected to an eternal plan, held by hands that will never let you go. The chosen ones are called to do the impossible, not because they possess superhuman abilities in themselves, but because they have access to a power that transcends all human limits. When God calls you to something, He always equips you for it. He will never send you without giving you what you need to succeed. The problem is not a lack of divine resources, it is our tendency to look at our natural resources and conclude it isn't enough. But the chosen ones learn to operate from a different economy, an economy where 5 loaves feed 5,000, where water turns into wine, where the oil does not run out until the purpose is fulfilled. You are entering a season where the supernatural will become natural for you. Things that once required tremendous effort will begin to flow with ease. Doors you used to force will begin to open at your lightest touch. People who once ignored your voice will suddenly want to hear what you have to say. Not because your natural abilities changed, but because the anointing on your life is increasing. And when the anointing increases, everything changes. What was hard becomes easy. What was impossible becomes inevitable. What was a distant dream becomes a present reality. But with great anointing comes great opposition. Prepare yourself. The enemy does not attack what is not a threat. The closer you get to your destiny, the fiercer the battle. Yet here is the truth that must keep your heart steady. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, not because you are invincible by yourself, but because you are covered by God's promise, and God's promises do not fail. Never, not once in all eternity has a divine promise failed. Why would He start with yours? There is a scene in the spiritual realm that, if you could see it, you would never again doubt your protection. Angels might, and terrible in their glory are, assigned specifically to your life. They are not greeting card cherubs. They are warriors of light who have fought battles since before time existed. And they are positioned around your life, not because you earned it, but because God ordered it. He said of you, "This one is mine. This one is marked. This one is a chosen one. No one touches them without going through me first." How many times have you stood at the edge of disaster and something inexplicable saved you? How many times should you have failed, but mysteriously succeeded? How many times did the enemy set a perfect trap and somehow you escaped? It was not luck. It was not coincidence. It was divine intervention. It was those angels carrying out God's orders over your life. And they will continue to do so, because your story is not finished. The best chapters are yet to come. The truth about the chosen ones is that their greatest battle is not against external enemies, but against internal doubt. The voice that says you are not enough is more dangerous than any external opposition. Because if the enemy can convince you that you are not who God says you are, he doesn't need to stop you. You will stop yourself. But that voice is a liar. It always has been. Since the Garden of Eden, his strategy has been the same. Make you question what God has clearly said. Did God really say? That seemingly innocent question has destroyed more destinies than anything else. But you, chosen one, will no longer fall into that trap. Because now you know your lineage. Now you understand your identity. Now you have received divine confirmation. And when the enemy comes with his whispers of doubt, you will respond not with your own words, but with the words of the one who formed you. I am who God says I am. I can do what God says I can do. I will fulfill the purpose for which I was created, not by my strength, not by my power, but by the Spirit of the Lord. And now, as we arrive at the heart of this revelation, as the weight of this truth settles on your spirit like a sacred mantle, you need to know this. Your spiritual descent connects you directly with Christ himself. He is the supreme elected chosen one, par excellence, from whom all other chosen derive their identity. When God calls you chosen, he is identifying you with his Son. He is marking you with the same mark that rests on Christ. He is calling you to manifest the same love, the same power, the same truth that Jesus manifested when he walked this earth. You are not alone in this. You never have been. Christ himself, the firstborn among many brothers and sisters, walks with you. His Spirit lives within you. His power flows through you. His heart beats in sync with yours. And where he leads you, he equips you. Where he sends you, he accompanies you. What he commands you to do, he gives you the power to fulfill. This is not a mission you must complete by your own strength. It is a divine partnership where heaven and earth work together to manifest God's will. The chosen ones share a collective mission, even though their individual callings differ. The collective mission is simple yet profound. To be bearers of light in a world growing ever darker. To be a voice of truth amid the chaos of information and disinformation. To be an anchor of hope when the world sinks into despair. To be tangible. Proof that God has not abandoned humanity, that he is still moving, still working, still calling those who have ears to hear, and your individual calling, that specific design only you can fulfill, is about to be clarified in ways you have never experienced. The pieces that made no sense will begin to fit. The experiences that seemed random will reveal their purpose. The skills you developed without knowing why will suddenly find their perfect application. Absolutely everything in your life, even the most painful moments, was weaving the tapestry of your destiny. And now that you are awakening to your identity as a chosen one, you can finally see the full design. This is your moment of decision. You can receive this confirmation and keep living as if you had not received it, allowing fear or comfort to keep you in your safety zone. Or you can take the step of faith your spirit knows you must take. You can step out of the boat even if the waves look threatening. You can speak even if your voice trembles. You can move even if you cannot see the whole path. Because the chosen ones do not need to see the entire road before taking the first step. They only need to see the next step. And God promises the light will be enough for the step you must take now. The confirmation you have received today is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the start of an entirely new chapter in your story. Everything you have lived until now was preparation. Everything that comes now is manifestation. The seeds you planted in tears are about to be harvested in joy. The dreams you buried because they seemed impossible are about to rise again. The promises God spoke to you years ago, perhaps decades, are entering their season of fulfillment. And when everything begins to unfold, when you see with your own eyes God's faithfulness manifested in your life, when you witness miracle after miracle, door after door, favor after favor, remember this moment. Remember this day you received confirmation. Remember these words that resonated in your spirit. Because in the days ahead, when you face new trials and new challenges inherent to your calling, you will need to anchor your faith in these eternal truths. You are a chosen one, marked by God, spiritual descendant of the great bearers of faith, called with purpose, equipped with power, and destined to fulfill what you were created for. Heaven is waiting for your response. The angels are ready to move on your behalf. The doors are prepared to open. The connections are aligning. The resources are being released. Everything is ready. The only missing piece is you saying yes with all your heart. Not a lukewarm, hesitant yes, but a complete, total, no reservations yes, the kind of yes Mary gave when the angel told her she would carry the Messiah. The kind of yes Abraham gave when he was called to leave everything familiar. The kind of yes that changes not only your life, but the course of history. Chosen one, this is your moment. This is your hour. This is your time. The confirmation has arrived. The identity has been revealed. The lineage has been established. The purpose has been clarified. Only one thing remains, to walk in the fullness of everything God has declared over you. And when you do and you take that radical step of faith, you will discover that the universe conspires in your favor. Because you are not chasing a selfish dream. You are fulfilling a divine mandate. And when you fulfill a divine mandate, all the power of heaven moves to ensure your success. Rise, chosen one. Shake off the dust. Straighten your crown. Remember who you are. Remember whose you are. Remember what you were created for. Then, with faith like fire and determination like steel, advance into everything that awaits you. Your story is being written right now. Let it be a story worthy of the lineage from which you descend. Let it be a story that inspires future generations. Let it be a story that, when it ends, heaven can say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You've stepped into your identity. You've fulfilled your purpose. You manifested my glory on earth." This is your calling. This is your confirmation. This is your moment. Chosen one, arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. If these words resonated in your spirit, if you recognize that you are one of the chosen ones, don't let this message end here. Share it with those you know need this confirmation. Subscribe to this channel to receive more prophetic messages that will awaken your destiny. And leave me a comment telling which specific sign you've received that you are a chosen one. Your testimony may be the confirmation someone else is waiting for. You are not alone in this journey. We are a family of the chosen, awakening together, rising together, fulfilling our collective and individual purpose. Your moment is now. Don't let it pass.